It's the Morning Pittsburgh Sports Report here on Trib Live Radio at triblive.com.
Who are you?
Ken Laird, back
Nice
from
to meet
Indianapolis.
you.
Good to see you.
Welcome to the show.
Not often you spend 5 days in Indy unless you've been arrested. But the NFL Combine was out there, so Scott Brown and I spent some time out there, Guy. And pretty interesting, it's the big cattle call of all the NFL prospects. But the Steelers in 2 months will be picking 24th in the draft. And 3 prospects that I think are going to be awaiting them there at that pick. Nose tackle from Memphis, Dontari Poe. Linebacker from Alabama, the captain of that national championship team, Donta Hightower, and a guard from Georgia, a behemoth of a man, Cordy Glenn, who might play a little tackle as well. But just generally, we're a long way away, and some of these guys have yet to work out and run. But if you had Casey Hampton, James Farrior, and Alan Faneca waiting there, and you knew that that's what they would turn out to be, if you're the Steelers, of those 3, what's more important to them right now?
Wow, of those 3, I would take Alan Faneca, and I think of the 3 guys you mentioned from college, I really like Glenn. I've had him written down as my guy that I think they should be interested in. There's a possibility Hampton could come back and play, and I think McClendon, if he's got I thought he did a nice job when he came in last year. Yeah. I also think the linebackers, because of injuries, we didn't see the real story there. Guys, Timmons shifted around from position to position. Woodley was hurt a lot of the year. I think if they're healthy, they could get by. The offensive line's been an issue for a while. They got a Pro Bowl center now who's hopefully going to be healthy for the first time in a year and a half by September. I go for the guard.
Yeah, and if you do that, you'll have a first-round pick at center. You'll have a second-round pick, theoretically, in Marcus Gilbert at left tackle, and you'd plug in the first-round pick at the left guard spot. And Chris Kemoeatu, they paid him a good bit of money to come back here a few years ago. He's still got 2 years left on his deal, but he was injured. It was not a good year for Chris K. I imagine his salary being what it is, they can save $3.5 million, put that toward Mike Wallace. Makes sense that they would cut ties with Kemoeatu. It's a possibility at least.
Yeah, even when healthy and playing well, I think there are issues there. Penalties, certainly Mike Tomlin was disgusted with the amount of penalties that the guy takes. I think they could improve at that spot. I think the salary is an issue with the salary cap problems that they've had. And I just think offensive line, if you want to sit there as an owner and talk about the quarterback's got to change the way he plays, or you need a new offensive coordinator, too many sacks, you got to take care of the quarterback, you got to get the offensive line short up some too, in my opinion.
I'm real intrigued by Hightower. I want to see how he runs, but he's coming off major knee surgery in 2009, but just talking to him, he says he's as fast as he was before the injury. If you can get a guy that can cover Rob Gronkowski and Jimmy Graham and these type of tight ends, who's also a big hitter like Farrior, and be the leader of your defense there on the inside for the next 10 to 15 years, it's tough to pass that up. As you say, Timmons was out of position a lot last year. But he seems ageless, but he's 37. At some point, they've got to, and it takes a lot of time for those guys to groom into the spot. Where I feel like guard and nose
even
tackle.
Timmons and Woodley, people were expecting miracles from those guys immediately, and it took, especially for Timmons, took a few years.
Yeah, and I feel like you could get a nose tackle in 1 year, kind of get him ready to go, or a guard for that matter. You might want to take the guy who it's going to be 2 or 3 years before he learns everything there is to know about Dick LeBeau's defense. It might be time to go linebacker too. It's a tough decision.
I don't think you can go wrong with any of those positions. I just think there's a better chance that they're okay from within at the 2 other positions than they are at offensive line. I see that as a problem no matter what. That's why I wouldn't mind going there. And a lot of it will depend on maybe only one of those 3 guys left by the time that they actually draft.
Yeah, a couple Pitt guys out there too. Penn State was well represented.
What's the biggest thing that surprised you? I'm anxious to hear about it. Neither of us had been there before. This is your first time. What surprised you about what goes on at the Combines? Anything?
Well, I think people get excited. Every year you see this. There's a workout warrior. Bruce Irvin from West Virginia just ran a 4.3, 4.40. So everybody's wild now about the pass rushing ability, and this guy's a great athlete. But so it's amazing. It's an NFL industry meeting. You see all the bigwigs there, and one little number in a workout happens, and people start to get excited. It's Indianapolis. You look for anything to get excited about. But just the kind of inside nuances here 2 months away. It's neat to see all the scouts and the GMs out there working.
Well, if they had it in Vegas, nobody would go to the workouts.
Yeah, nobody would go. And the Steelers will probably have a worse record of drafting over the last 10 years. All right, we're 2 months away from that, but we'll be keeping you updated on the path to the draft as it moves on here in Steelers country. With Guy Junker, I'm Ken Laird. Every morning we do the Morning Pittsburgh Sports Report.